Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Malicious Compliance. Story 1. New purse check rule absolutely mandatory. Update: bag checks are officially cancelled. Day 2. The rest of the employees and I gave the manager the information about bag checks needing to be completed on paid time. She absolutely did not appreciate having to stick to our personal time schedules to complete the task. By day 4, all my co-workers and I had brought in so many personal and uncomfortable items that she was no longer felt it necessary to check. Thank you all for the suggestions. Edit: thank you all for the information about bag checks having to be performed before clocking out. I definitely did not know that and will be bringing it up with my co-workers and the manager. I work 3 jobs. The hours and days vary. My full-time job is in an office space on a very fancy modern officer with a great company. They have some great amenities on site too, a full gym, lockers and showers, full cafeteria, etc. My second job is close to full-time, food depending on other employees' availability, no set schedule, very chaotic and not well ran. It's a boutique just a bus ride from my office, and it's all in a very busy downtown tourist port city by the ocean. The thing is, it's a tourist boutique. It's all city-branded trinkets, shirts, postcards, and gifts. There's really not much any locals would want, unless buying it for out-of-town family. Third job is a fast food place. I'm often between these 2 jobs and don't have time to run home between. I carry a gym bag with me, with my tiny purse/wallet inside, along with clean business professional clothes, gym clothes, and work uniforms to change in and out of, extra underwear. It's summer and extremely hot. Buses don't usually ever have AC, so if there's time I'll shower at the office and I have travel size shower items. A book for the bus rides. I don't have a car, lunch, and snacks, hairbrush. Apparently the boutique has experienced a lot of loss. Something we had previously brought up being an issue because our boss, the owner, will have big tables and buckets of items outside by the sides of the door where we can't monitor them, especially if we're inside with customers. People definitely take advantage and we've seen a lot of people grab things and just talk off. These aren't the cheaper items in the store either. We've lost an entire display of mid-priced sunglasses, handfuls of bikini separates, and at one point the entire table was emptied in a snatch and run with about 5 younger people. But he thinks it's us stealing things. His wife runs the store, she's always in. She said we have a new mandatory bag check and every employee in the store is a woman who usually carries a purse or bag. It's not just a quick look through the bag, she wants to remove the items and feel around the sides of the bag and make sure we aren't taking any trinkets and items. I'll be honest, I haven't seen anybody on staff, there's 4 of us, ever steal anything, and I don't even think it's because they're all stand-up employees. I think it's because they don't care to own any of the cheap tacky tourist items. Because my bag is bigger, it's been kind of a nightmare for me. She wants me to take every individual item out of my bag and show there's nothing wrapped up inside of it, lay it out across a table by the register. The first day of this I was late to work because she wouldn't start checking my bag until I clocked out, and then she took her time with a customer, causing me to be almost a half hour late to my other job. I considered that I could just continue getting lockers at my office, but they're day use only, so depending on my schedule I'd have to make a separate trip to get back to the office before the building closed to remove my items, and it wouldn't be feasible with my other jobs. I'm honestly pretty sure the staff who cleans the lockers at the end of the day probably wouldn't mind and would work something out for me, but I don't feel like I need to go out of my way to keep a steady rotation on a locker. If my boutique manager wants to make things awkward and difficult on me, I'm going to turn around and do it right back to her. She is a very tightly wound conservative lady, so I added a few extra items to my gym bag. I don't get my period, but I picked up a menstrual cup. Period talk makes her absolutely faint. I included some new reading material, old 70s Playboys I keep at the house, for aesthetic purposes, and I just like them. I swapped in some of my sexiest and functionally impossible underwear, but also one of my granniest of panties. I also, for no reason at all, included condoms, furry handcuffs, a gag gift at my sister's bachelorette party, and I picked up a pamphlet at a nearby community center for their group therapy for bereavement. It went off perfectly at the end of my shift. There were customers in the store and she made me go through my bag item by item, opening them up and holding it up so she could check to make sure there was nothing hidden. I carefully fanned out my old magazines to show there was nothing between the pages. I pulled out each set of panties like a creepy fashion show, holding them up to the light so she could see directly through the lace. Every item we pulled out of the gym bag made her more and more flush. She was uncomfortable, she could barely perform the check. She nearly had a panic attack when I pulled out a little sandwich baggie with a menstrual cup in it. I even pulled out the pamphlet and set it aside slowly with intent to seem affected by it, and she looked at me quizzically and kind of confused, asked what's this about, and I said solemnly, oh, I haven't lost anybody, but it's a great place to meet new people. I pulled the condoms out right after saying that. My second back check was definitely faster than the first and I was finished and out the door in time to catch my bus and arrive to work early actually. Speed running the bag check wasn't my initial plan, but it was definitely an unconsidered plus to the situation. I honestly don't mind doing a back check if they really feel like it's so necessary, but the invasiveness of making every employee pull out inside everything in their bags on a table where every customer in the store has a plain view of everything they have is a little much. And purposely making it take so much time that it's interfering with our other jobs and personal lives is crossing the line. But now I'm kind of excited to see what other items I can include in my gym bag just to keep her on her toes. I don't want it to be too obvious, but just enough to make her consider that a lady's bag is usually private, and upending that for all our customers to see might not be great for business. Story 2. Update: oh, I have to resubmit my application because I never got the notification to give you more info. Alright, but I'm making darn sure you received it. Original post: https://reddit.com/r/MaliciousCompliance/s/e. First of all, I want to thank everyone who responded, provided support and upvoted my last post. I honestly didn't realize I would get such a huge response. Most of the response was positive, and those that weren't, you know who you are. I didn't expect an update that didn't result in the completion of this saga, and since many of you all ask for an update, I thought I would provide it. So after sending in my 12th application yesterday, this morning after my start time at work I got a call from my insurance. They remarked on the voicemail, since I couldn't answer because, well, I was at work, that they got 2 applications, not anywhere close to the 12 that I have already sent in, 13 after I stopped by the mailbox today, in a confused tone. They also decided to drop another bomb on me. So when I was originally told that they needed more info from me, specifically proof of income, something not listed as a requirement in the application process, I was told they needed my last 2 pay stubs. I get paid every 2 weeks, so this would add up to a month's worth of pay stubs. Well, these clowns have changed their story, again. Now they have decided they need 2 months' worth of pay stubs. I honestly don't know which I should be madder about right now, the fact that they changed their story, again, or the fact that out of 12 new applications over more than 2 weeks at this point they have only gotten 2 of them. I wonder what their reaction is going to be when they actually realize what I'm doing. Story 3. Indian 5 stars MC. Okay, I just read the post about the wings, and it made me think of this. I never really thought of it as MC, but it totally is. There is an Indian restaurant next door to a dance studio I used to teach at. Great food. And the owner gave us 25% off because we worked next door. I always ended up adding it to the tip, because, hey, why not make the staff glad to see us? Anyway, I took my wife there many times, and always ordered the chicken tikka masala. One Saturday evening, I was feeling particularly froggy, and when the waiter asked me how spicy, I said, 5 stars. As he wrote it down, I stopped him and said, but not the white guy 5 stars. I want the Indian 5 stars. He just stared at me for a second, and said, that would be very spicy, sir. I told him I understood, I knew what I was asking for, and to please give me the Indian 5 stars. Yeah, You know what's coming. It was one of the most entertaining meals I've ever eaten. No, I did not manage to finish it, and no, my wife had no sympathy for the strange moans that echoed through the house that night. Story 4. Ida for making my landlady wait 29 minutes before she showed my apartment to a potential tenant. Long story short, I'm moving at the end of the month and am in the process of packing my stuff up. My landlady keeps on showing my apartment to potential tenants at least 3 times per week, which really annoys the hell out of me since I've paid August's rent to live here, so I should be able to enjoy my apartment in peace. I don't like getting kicked out of my apartment, oftentimes when doing school-related things, so that the apartment can be shown. I asked her to limit the amount of showings, since the showings were becoming bothersome to me. She responded by telling me she has every right to tour my apartment, since I handed in my 30-day notice to vacate at the beginning of August. Local laws are such that if a landlord/landlady is going to show a rental property with somebody still living there, the landlord/landlady must give a 24-hour notice to the tenant. Most of the time, my landlady gives me almost exactly a 24-hour notice. Like, I'll get a text at 2:59 p.m. saying that there's going to be a showing at 3 p.m. the next day. She never gives me more than a 25-hour notice, which seems purposeful on her end. Well, on Thursday afternoon, I got a text at 4:29 p.m. saying that there will be a tour at 4 p.m. on Friday. When my landlady showed up and knocked on my door at exactly 4 p.m., I opened the door and told her that she needs to wait 29 minutes. She immediately got all pissy with me and demanded an explanation. I showed her my phone, which proved that she sent her message at 4:29 p.m. the previous day, so she legally couldn't step foot into my apartment until 4:29 p.m. She started yelling at me saying that I'm just being petty. The potential tenant who was going to tour my place wasn't willing to wait 29 minutes, so he cancelled the showing and bounced. My landlady was very upset and said that I wasted her time. I know what I did was out of pettiness, but if she didn't kick me out of my own apartment like 12 times in August so far, I wouldn't have a reason to be petty. I paid for my rent in August and want to enjoy my apartment in peace while I prepare for my move. I feel bad for wasting the time of the guy who cancelled the showing, but I feel zero empathy for my landlady. Ida? That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.